So now that we've taken care of the sockets and the lighting for that space, let's go to the toolkit. Before we take care of the air conditioning, let's go to the toolkit. What I just do there? So having done both the lighting, okay, and the sockets, we can just go ahead to do the AC, the dedicated, then we go to the load schedule. But one thing we can do is this. I want to show you how, look at this socket now, P1A. This P1A has 7 points plus 5 has 12 points, while P2A has 9 points. Let's go and see how the load schedule would treat this issue. Also, the lighting, the load schedule will combine all the L1As. As long as they are less than 1500 watts, it's fine. But if they are more than 1500 watts, it's going to spill over to L2A. But this one, it won't happen like that because it's not more than that. But I'll show you the example on the socket point. So if I go to load schedule right now, I go to load schedule. Okay, now you can put in all the AC dedicated before coming to load schedule if that's what you want to do. But I just want to show you going forward. So you want to come here for your load schedule, you have to build load schedule. Every time you make an edit, you have to build load schedule. Okay, so you can see you're on a three-phase DB. Okay, if it's single phase, you see single phase there. So I'm just going to click on build. You say load schedule act for active DBA. Remember, you can always set the active DB here, but we have just one DB here, so that's the active DB. Okay, so let's go back to load schedule. So I'm going to click on build load schedule now. Schedule build successfully three phase here. So you can see now that this is how you entered it. This first one here is the how you entered it. See L1A, L1A, they're all on red phase. Okay, all the calculation, the load, the watts, the breaker per amps. L2A, L2A, all on yellow phase. Then P1A blue, so it's red, yellow, blue. So if you come down, you see the circuit summary. You can see all these three L1As. If you come to the circuit summary, you have just one L1A. It has summed everything together. Okay, that's 149 plus 60 plus 344. If you look at that, 149 plus 60 plus 344, you have 553 watts. Okay, so and you also sum up the points. So 553 watts. Okay, that's it. And how many points? 17 plus 3, 20 plus 11 is 31. 31 points. Breaker is 10 amps. Okay, 553 watts. Remember, we set in our settings that it should be maximum of 1500 watts. So you can see how it has done that for you. And it put it on the red face here for you. Beautifully done. L2A, the same thing. The three L2As is not up to 1500 watts. It's on the yellow face. 289 plus 50 plus 23. It has summed it up to 362. Okay, let's see that. So 289 plus 50 plus 23, 289 plus 50 plus 23. Sorry about that. Plus 50 plus 23. That's 362. L2A. That's 362. And that's what you have here, 362. And it's put it on the yellow face for you. You see red, red, yellow. Okay. So now the the P1s. Remember we had three P1s. If we go to the load schedule, the socket points now, we loaded P1, um, P1 to be 6 plus 1, 7 plus 5. This is about 12 points. And if you remember when we went to the settings for our sockets, we said it should be maximum 10 points, 300 watts. Okay, that's the end breaker. So that's how the load schedule treats that. So this is how you originally entered it, P1, P1, P1. This is the raw entry. Okay, 1 8, 300, that's 2 1, plus 900, that's 3000. So so it has done something here now. It has already splitted the load for you. If you look at the sockets, we don't have any P3. Okay, we don't have any P3. But now in the load schedule, it has created a P3 for you because you must not have more than 3000 watts. That's what you have, that's the instruction you have given to it. So that if you come to the circuit summary here, all the P1s have been summed together. Okay, So if you look at your P1 here, it gives you maximum of 3,000. Instead of the 12 point that would have given you 3,600 watts, it gave you a maximum of 3,000. Okay. What did you do with the remaining 600? Don't forget, if you go to your, so this is the raw entry. You had P1A here, 6, the first one, the second one, 1. Okay, this makes 2001. The third one was supposed to be, I think, was it, let's look at it in load schedule, I mean, the socket point. This is P1A, the 146, second one is 1. The third one was 5, okay, 5. All right, third one was 5, which makes it overlap the 10 to 12, okay. This is plus 1, 7 plus 5, 12. So if you look at what he did here, the P1 here, instead of 5, it gave it 3 here, okay, so that it doesn't overload to 12. So 3 makes it 10, 6 plus 1, 7 plus 3, 10, okay. And the remaining 2, it spilled it over to P2. Can you see? P2. If you look at P2 here, let's look at P2 here. P2 has, this is P2, has 7 points and 2 points, has a total of 9 points, okay. And here it has spilled over 2 to P2, okay. So this P2 is supposed to have 11 points, and it can't have 11 points because you have set 10 in the settings. It will spill it over to P3 also, okay. That's how intelligent it is. So if you look at it, so it spilled it over to P2, okay. So the 2 points here, then the 7 points, all right, that makes 9, okay. Then you have 1 point, okay, here, which that makes it 10. So this makes it 10. 2 plus 7 plus 1 makes it 10. The next one is spilled over towards P3 so that you don't have more than 10 in one circuit. And that's what it has done here. P1, 3,000 watts. P2, 3,000 watts. And the only thing remaining was just 300 watts. P3, 300 watts. Okay? So it has distributed it for you beautifully. Blue, red, and yellow. Do you see how that is done? All right. So right now we're going to go back and begin to put in the AC. When you put in the AC, we just come and build schedule. It includes all the ACs also. So you don't have to, and you can always, then you know what to do. You export this one. Okay. So you just come here and just export Excel, and it will export it for you and the load summary. Okay. So let's go ahead and do the air conditioning. I just wanted to explain that to you. So we go to the AC units now. It also uses cooling load system. The rule of thumb is about, it depends on the space, but here we're just, this is the basic one. So using 130 watt per square meters for the cooling load. So we can also say R001. I think the first one was, it was 4.5 by 4.6. I remember that. 4.6, 4.5. It's just, this is the basic. So let's say it's a residential, just a small commercial. You can decide what's the size of the horsepower, the units you want to, AC units you want to use. Maybe 1 horsepower, maybe 2 horsepower, maybe 1.5 horsepower. You can select that here. So if it's 1 horsepower for this kind of room, 1 horsepower, or it's okay. Okay. So use 1 horsepower here, or 1.5 horsepower. Even if you use 1.5 horsepower. But so if you use 1.5 horsepower, it's going to suggest one for that space. Okay. And of course, I know naturally, I mean, if you're, since you're a professional, you already know that you just need one air conditioner in this space. All right. So, but if you're using 1 horsepower, it is suggesting two. To cool this place properly, it's suggesting two. Okay. But I'm going to use 1.5 horsepower for a reason. I want to demonstrate how it will also not put two air conditioning on one circuit. I want to demonstrate that also. Okay, so we already have P3 in the socket, so I'm going to continue this one with P4. So let me use 1 horsepower so it can suggest two for us. So if I do one and a half horsepower, 1 horsepower rather, it's suggesting two. Okay, so if it suggests two, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to leave it. So circuit label, I'm going to call this, because you have P3 already. If you look at it, if you go to the load schedule, you have P3 already. So I'm going to call this P4A. P4-A. That's how I like to follow the air conditioning, to follow the the sockets. All right. And if you don't want to do that, sometimes you also want to put the air conditioning on a separate distribution board. So I can go to the settings, create a new DB. Like, it can be a single phase DB, and put all my my air conditioning on that single phase DB. All right, so that will be the second DB. You see, it's flexible, whatever it is you want to do, however it is you do it. If you separate air conditioning on a separate DB, just do that, go to the settings, create a new DB, make that DB active, come to air conditioning, and begin to input it there. Okay, very simple, very easy. But I want to demonstrate to you that it's not going to put two distribution boards on one circuit. So remember I suggesting 2 units. I'm going to just add room. Okay, I'm going to add room. So 2 units RW01. So let's go like that. So the second space is the kitchen and sitting. I'm just going to measure it together. So okay, let me measure it one by one. This is again 2.7 by 3.4. So I'm going to go back there. 3.4 by 2.7. I definitely want to use 1.5 horsepower in the kitchen here. Okay, so suggesting 1 unit in the kitchen. I can call this one R003 or R002. I've forgotten what our label is. I think I labeled it as 003. Let me just leave it R003. Circuit label. So now that this is this is P4A, is 2. I'm going to call this P5A. And I'm going to expect it to do the correction on the load schedule. Okay, because it's supposed to be P4A, the next one P5A. It's supposed to be P4A and P4A and P5A. But I'll just make this one P5A and I'll allow it to do the correction. I'll just show you how smart it is. So this is for this other room. Okay, that's the kitchen, and the sitting area, which is the last place we want to put an air conditioning there. I think is there's about 4.1 by say 3.5. Okay, 4.1. Did I just measure 4.1 there? Let me see it again. Let's say 4.2 by 3.5. Okay, let's go back to our toolkit. 4.2 by 3.5. I hope you're enjoying this. Now, this is the standard, okay? So you're not just guessing to put. So if you're using 1 horsepower, that bedroom is telling us that you need at least minimum two. But if you're using 1.5 horsepower, you need 1. So 4.2 by 3.5 using this cooling load watt per square meters. And this is not just from my head. If you look at this right now, you see from data collected from new buildings air conditioning, you use between 100 and 180 watt per square meter. Okay, depends on the kind of bay. If it's the office, the 120 to 260 square meter for hotels. Okay, so if you look at 120, I'm using the lower side about 130. So it's not just you're not just pulling this from the air. This is the standard. Okay, all right. Now we have the HVAC toolkit that's for major projects. You're using central air conditioning where you use ducts, the duct air handling units and the likes. Okay, so but for this one, the basic wall hung. So let's say I want to use 1.5 horsepower in the kitchen. It's suggesting 1. I've said it's P. Okay, I have P4A. I have P5A. So I'm going to call this P6A. P6 dash A. Just to demonstrate to you how intelligent it is. So let's call this R004. R004, the room. Just to, if you don't name it, it doesn't matter. I just like to. So I'm going to add to this. Now, look at this now. This P4A, P5A, P6A. Normally, you should not have 2 units, two ACs on one circuit. Okay, but this one is looking like it's having it. So what you're expecting the load schedule should be P4A, P5A. So it's going to spill this over to P5A. P5A cannot have to spill over to P6. So we should have P4A to P7A on the load schedule. So let's go to the load schedule right now. Now, to have the AC there, you have to rebuild. Just build load schedule now. All right. So what we're going to have, what I tell you, P4A, P5A, P6A, P7A, because it will never have 2 ACs on one circuit. All right. It is that intelligent. And you have it on your circuit summary here. Your P4A, P5A, P6A, P7A. Is that not interesting? All right. So that is so beautiful is helping you. It's that intelligence. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's helping you, and you know that in your space, you know where to put all those your ACs now. This is AC switches. I like to put my own by door side. You know, put my ACs by the door. Okay, put my ACs by the door. For this one, I'm not put it here. All right, I'm not teaching you that. I mean, you know what you're doing. I'm just showing you how this can make your work very fast and very efficient. Okay, you are designing according to standard. All right, so that being said, the next thing we want to do is to move to our dedicated. All right, so what do we have in dedicated? You have a package AC. You understand? So let's say you want to use a bigger AC compared to the normal wall hung. All right. So, and if you look at the load schedule also, load schedule, you see that the AC are 20 amps. Okay. The socket point 30 amps. Okay. So AC is 20 amps. That is how it has been. Okay. If you go to the settings, it's all there. You can change it if you don't want it there. So you can change it there if you don't want. Go to the settings. We talked about that. Socket settings, dedicated AC water heater cooker. This is where you set all the breaker and the wattage, maximum wattage per unit. All right. So we'll go back to the dedicated. So we're not using packages. So what we need in the dedicated, if we go to our drawings right now, what do we really need? We need a water heater here. We need a water heater here. So we need two water heaters and we need a cooker unit here. Okay? Two water heaters and one cooker unit. Simple. That's what we need. We'll go to our here. So I don't need package AC. What I need is what? A water heater. So I like to label my heaters. I told like H1-A. Okay? And I'm putting this one in the toilet. So R002, I think it was R002. It's 2000 watts per unit, 20 amps. I'm going to add that. Okay, see, whatever it is you label your circuit is what you have there. That's H1A. Then I have water heater 2 on H2A, H2-A. But this time around in the kitchen, I think the kitchen was R003. So I like to, or you can call just label kitchen. You can just write kitchen there. So I can just write kitchen. Okay, if it's that's how you like it. So if you add kitchen like this, you say add, so that's H2A. All right, so you can see H2A kitchen. You can see it wrote kitchen there. But I like to just call mine R00 whichever. So I'm going to just edit and just call this one R003. So that's the essence of that. So by the time you play around with it, you really know, so I'm just going to update this. So that's R003. What else do I need? I still need cooker unit in the kitchen. So the cooker unit is 3000 watt. What we set in the settings, and a breaker of 30 amps. One unit, obviously. I'm gonna call this kitchen also R003. Okay, R003. No, sorry, H3A. H3-A. That's the circuit label. I can call this R003 too. Kitchen 2. Add. Okay, can you see that? So I have my water heater. I have my two water heaters, one in the room, one in the kitchen, and one the cooker is in the kitchen. If you go to your load schedule and you build load schedule, so it's not here yet until you build. Just come and click build. So you see H1A, H2A, H3A. Very, very, very easy. So if I've gone to your settings, you go to your settings, for instance, and we see dedicated. What do I put on dedicated? I put H there. If I add another something else to the dedicated, say I add I forgot, I didn't put the circuit label, and I just say kitchen. You understand what I'm saying? Say package AC. I want to put a package AC. Package AC. Okay. No, not package. Let me just say I want to put another water heater or cooker. Let's say I just want to put something somewhere. Okay. Look at what's going to happen now, and I add it to it. I remember I didn't put the circuit label there. Look at this. What do we have here? H4A. It just continued intelligently from where it stopped. That's how beautiful it is. But I'm going to delete this one now because I don't need it. So you can always delete, you can edit. Okay. So if you go to the load schedule also, you build. So you have it there. H1A, H2A, and H3A. It's also here H1A, H2A, and H3A. All right, so that's very, very easy. So same thing, you're done. Your load schedule is built. You're not going to do any other load schedule. Look at this, the red phase, yellow phase, and the blue phase. Do you understand? That's it. You notice that this, look at it, it has given you this is demand factor, total connected load, estimated load. Okay, it's using this 0.8 demand factor. If you want to do 0.5, I mean, if you want to do 0.7, 0.9, you can change this and it will adjust load current, the main breaker, feeder cable, okay, the power factor, and the voltage. Simple as A, B, and C. All right, very, very easy. So now another thing you can do now, a lot of time for your, because of approval, the approval guys want this to be balanced. It's a very, very simple thing. Just come here, auto balance faces. I'm gonna auto balance. Let's look at it first. See how it is now. 7, you know it's not balanced. Come here. And this is the total. You will auto balance without affecting the total. Look at this. This will assign circuit phases to balance the load across RY and B phases. Continue, okay? Now look at how beautifully balanced this is. This is not just lovely. You don't rack your head about anything. It doesn't affect your total, doesn't affect anything, but your load is balanced. It has recircuited, it has redistributed into phases so that your load can be properly balanced. It is not beautiful. And you're done. Okay? So the next thing is, okay, let's say you want to use another DB or you want to replicate DBs. That's what we're going to be looking at next. Okay? I hope you are enjoying this. All right.